Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. So each time I've mentioned Antoinette's Baking Company to someone who's asked me about our local chef demo lineup, I've heard nothing but rave reviews. So I'm super excited to introduce the co-founder of Antoinette's Baking Company, Molly Martin, and the general manager of both Antoinette's and Beatrice Ice Cream, Cameron Andrews. In 2012, childhood friends Molly and Andrea Moan started Antoinette Baking Company in a small space in Tulsa's Brookside neighborhood. Molly realized her passion for baking during the pursuit of the perfect macaroon. It's all documented in her blog, which is still alive and well. Andrea started making bread and cakes for friends and family at home, which turned into making a 6-tier wedding cake for her sister. Needless to say, she realized that was crazy, but she couldn't get enough. The bakery moved to the Tulsa Arts District in 2015 and has loved growing with the community. Being a part of everyday celebrations is why they love opening their doors each morning. Please welcome them to the stage.
Hey, y'all.
Hello. This is our first big cooking show, so thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Today we are going to make caramel ice cream and show you how to make tiny, adorable baby waffle cones. We're going to start churning the ice cream first so that it'll be ready to scoop after we make cones and the actual ice cream base. I got one of these, even before I opened the bakery, I got a KitchenAid ice cream bowl, and I started a door-to-door ice cream club probably 10 years ago, and it was my favorite thing I've done in a long time. I would go door to door. Everyone got 2 pints of ice cream in these adorable canning jars from Ball, and I would make crazy ice cream combinations, one of them being olive oil, which we are not making olive oil ice cream today. We're making caramel, which is probably one of the best flavors of ice cream. So we're going to let that go, and Cameron has the waffle maker plugged in, so it'll be ready, but first we're going to make ice cream. So anyone know the difference between ice cream and gelato? Anyone? No? Okay, so ice cream has more fat and has more air incorporated into it when it churns, as opposed to gelato, which is still pretty sweet and it's smoother, less air incorporated. So we are going to make a dry caramel. Has anyone ever done that? No? Okay, so we are going to take 3/4 cup of sugar and put it in this little saucepan, and we're going to turn, got to figure out how to turn this on. Ooh. We're going to turn it on mid to high heat, and basically what we're doing is we're going to burn the caramel and take it down to liquid stage, and then we're going to add some heavy cream, and then we're going to make a caramel that way.
It's probably the only time that you want to burn something.
That is very true. Yes. Let me use this towel. So this takes probably, depending upon how high you're going to go in your heat, about 5 minutes-ish. It's good to have your pitcher of heavy cream, which is what's going to stop the cooking of the caramel immediately. And so I'm going to put it in here so it'll be ready to pour and good to go. So when you are making this ice cream, you want your caramel, after it becomes liquid, to look like a shiny penny, golden retriever, what do you call it? Irish setter. It's a very specific caramel color that you're looking for. The lighter you go in your caramel, the lighter and less caramelly your ice cream will be. I like a pretty dark one.
Same.
And I also like a lot of salt in my caramel ice cream. So it is melting down right now. Usually it tells you not to move caramel or sugar around, but I break that rule because sometimes little hot pockets will start and it'll burn in different areas. So by doing this, you're just kind of redistributing the melted sugar so you don't have one spot that's hotter than the other.
I had a recipe one time tell you to take your sugar down to the color of a baby fawn. I had to look up what a baby fawn was because I couldn't. It means nothing.
It's very specific.
It was very specific.
So we have Antoinette Baking Company, and that is downtown on Main Street. We've been there in that location for 9 years combined, so I think it's like 7 years total. We were first on Brookside for 3 years, and then we moved downtown into the Arts District. And we've been there, for a while. And so around the corner, we opened an ice cream shop, which we opened during the pandemic. So if you haven't had a chance to get down there, completely understandable. However, opening a new business in the pandemic is definitely a challenge, something I would not recommend. But we are out of that, and it's called Beatrice Ice Cream Co. If you don't know what Beatrice, the name, comes from, there is that Mayo Gold sign. I think it's on 11th Street, and it says Beatrice Foods. And it used to be a dairy plant. Beatrice Foods did. So we took that name, and it also has something to do with Marie Antoinette. I can't remember.
It's her daughter.
Her daughter's name was Beatrice, so it worked out well. Antoinette is from Marie Antoinette, in case you didn't know. So we are almost all melted, as you can see. So before we opened up the bakery, we had the really fun opportunity to go. Andrea is the co-owner. The three of us went to New York for a
business trip.
A business trip for a very long week, and it was really hard because we had to make a list of all the ice cream shops we wanted to go to, and then go eat all the ice cream.
We went at the end last year, at the end of February, beginning of March. And when we left New York, they had 13 COVID cases, and we got back and laughed at them. We're like, we beat it. And then we shut down 2 weeks later. But we were there right in the thick of it, and tried all the. Sadly enough, some of those ice cream places did not make it through the pandemic, so we were some of the last customers there.
All right, we are
Business trip.
almost there.
And I'm just melting butter for what I'm going to start in a little bit. Not doing anything fancy over here.
Okay, everyone can see that color? So, pretty dark. It's okay if there's a little bit of sugar bits that haven't melted. This is your sugar for your ice cream. So, when you're making this, it's pretty great because you don't have to add any additional sugar to it. So, if you do this at home, you gotta be very careful because it'll splatter, pop up, burn you. You gotta be careful.
Always use a bigger pot than what you think you need, because that steam and those splatters, they'll get you. That's technical baking terms. Get you.
So, like I said, this heavy cream is stopping the cooking and the browning of the caramel immediately. You're just going to stir it all till it becomes and looks like caramel is supposed to look. So, this is almost there, and then I'm going to turn the heat off so that it has time to cool down for a minute. And then I'm going to show you the rest of this ice cream. It's very easy. Okay, so to make this ice cream, there are 2 ways. You're going to use a lot of egg yolks. I like ice cream with heavy on the yolk, so it's very thick and custardy. And so you have 2 ways to separate eggs. So you can crack it, and you can go back and forth half and half like this until you have your yolk. Or you can crack it into a bowl, and then you can fish it out like this, and it'll stay whole. Both ways are very effective, but you want to make sure when you do this that you don't accidentally break the yolk, and then you have it go everywhere, and then it's a mess, and I probably should wash my hands. I'll just gross towel rub this off. So you have options for your egg yolks if you are scared or uncomfortable doing that. So this ice cream has a special way where you temper eggs and kind of stir it in so they don't cook. But I will be honest, I'm kind of a lazy ice cream maker when it comes to that. We make 12 quarts of ice cream at a time, liquid-wise, which is a lot of dairy. So
We have about 12 different flavors that we keep in stock at all times as well.
yeah, so we're going to add more milk and more heavy cream, and we're going to add a cup of milk, whole milk, and then another cup of heavy cream. And that's going to be our ice cream base, and we're not adding sugar because you have your caramel. And this is cold enough that it's not going to ruin your caramel. It's good there. I'm going to turn it back on because we are going to start cooking that. I'm going to add the heavy cream. I already separated 10 yolks, so we're not going to separate those eggs. I'm going to add that. I'm going to use this. Hopefully that's okay. We're going to whisk that together, and it's not very hot, so now we're going to add our eggs. Now, if you have a thermometer at home, it's really helpful. I'm very paranoid of, salmonella or killing someone with under a raw ice cream. So I cook our ice creams to 170 to be safe, just because I don't want anyone to get sick. And then you're going to add vanilla. You can add vanilla bean paste, which I really like because it makes a very pretty ice cream. And then I'm going to add salt, and I'm doing 2 teaspoons, which is a little more than a normal quantity for this size, because like I said, I like a very salty caramel. So we are going to cook this until it gets thick, coats the back of a spoon, or registers about 165 to 70, and that means your eggs are cooked. If you don't have one of these KitchenAid bowls, they're pretty great because you can make ice cream all the time and then have it immediately ready. You don't even really need to transfer it if you just want to eat it out of the KitchenAid bowl. It still works. Is it almost done?
She's getting there. She looks good. I'm going to start cones while you're stirring. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to make some waffle cones. So you're going to start with egg whites. There are a lot of recipes that will ask you to whip these to like a stiff peak. The one we're doing today, it's just a little whisk, nothing crazy. You're going to start with your egg whites, and then we're going to whisk in some heavy cream. Opening up, Beatrice, I was stoked to make ice cream. I wanted to be an ice cream scooper at Brahms as a kid. That was just my end goal in life. But making waffle cones has become probably one of my favorite things to actually do there. And it makes the bakery or the ice cream shop smell so good. So you're just gonna whisk in your heavy cream and a little bit of sugar. At Beatrice, we make gluten-free waffle cones as well as regular waffle cones. I think that's something we're finding more and more people are having gluten allergies or, people really like that we have gluten-free cones. So now we're gonna whisk in some sugar.
This caramel ice cream that we sell by the scoop or the pint, however, we pair with a brownie that happens to be gluten-free. The brownie's really good. I really don't think I can tell a taste difference between gluten-free brownie and regular, so it's pretty tasty. We also have a lot of vegan ice creams. If you are vegan, they're just as good as the regular ones.
A little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla. Man, having everything pre-scaled out is maybe my new favorite way of baking. Look at me go.
The great thing about this cone recipe is you could add cinnamon, you could add chocolate chips, you can add almond, mint, whatever you want. We just chose vanilla just to be basic on this one.
Then your melted butter, which in the back we were talking about, came up with the idea maybe doing a brown butter waffle cone in the future. Don't steal that idea. I also like browning butter because you can pretend like it was intentional when you forget about it.
So our ice cream is done. I failed to bring a strainer. So at home, I would suggest that you strain your custard just to get out any bits of egg whites that might have cooked or coagulated in here, and it'll just be a smoother ice cream when you're done. It is very important, though, before you use the KitchenAid bowl that you have your base chilled at least for 24 hours. The same on the freezer bowl. You want to have that frozen at least 24 hours. Otherwise, it will never become ice cream if you have a hot base, hot bowl, whatever. It'll just churn and churn, and you'll know it's not working. So definitely strain this before you're done. But yeah, ice cream is pretty darn easy, especially when you have it all scaled out.
I know, this is fantastic.
Yeah, so that is done. We'll just let her rest right there.
Okay, so the last part of cones, you're just gonna incorporate your flour just until it's fully incorporated. Kind of like anything with baking, once you hit the gluten part or your flour, you really don't want to overdo it, or she'll be tough. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys can see the consistency of it, but that's all. Then some. I would chill this. This is a little bit too runny. And Hollywood magic, bam. Here's some chilled dough. Or chilled batter. So the waffle cone maker we use at the shop is probably 2 or 3 times this size. And this is my cone shaper. And the one we use at the shop is massive compared to this one. But gotta fit ice cream in there.
But pretty much like all things, tiny cones are adorable.
I thought
Mini
I loved
food.
Yeah, I thought I loved everything tiny until I saw that massive KitchenAid mixer over there, and now I think I love large things too. So, this is just our tiny. I think this is considered a pizzelle maker.
It is a
yeah,
pizzelle
technically,
maker, yes.
It has. We'll just flip her around. These very cute designs that look like you did something fancy when you didn't. So we're gonna do. What would you say this is? Like 2 tablespoon thing. I'm gonna do about half of them. And probably make a mess. You don't have to spread it out or anything. The machine will do it for you. I apologize to whoever is next because this sometimes spills over on the side. But it's baking, baby. Yeah, and here she comes. How's your ice cream looking?
It's almost done.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna, step 1 is to make a mess, and you'll just wait.
It's kind of like the first pancake. The first one's really ugly. You got to get her out of the way, and then the next one will be pretty.
Trying to think of like a good joke right now. Got nothing. I gotta come up with a good waffle joke.
Is there ice cream to eat here this weekend? No? Anyone know?
Any ice cream here?
Any ice cream that you can go get? No. That is a shame. That's perfect, in my opinion, golf food. You just walk around with your cone. It's a quiet eat.
Before we got the shop open, we bought an old mail Jeep, and it was converted into our little ice cream truck. That was an interesting time in our lives, I think. Driving a mail Jeep, like right-hand driving. It was tiny. I felt like Mario Kart. But people loved it.
Kind of felt like you were driving a tractor. It took all your strength to turn.
Steering. Okay, so she's about ready. This is going to be your cone shaper. I don't have an easier way to do this besides burning your fingers. As a baker, you kind of just lose the feeling in your fingers, and it doesn't really become, you got hot hands. But you'll get this guy off. I hope this is a clean surface. I didn't ask. So the most important part whenever you're going to roll your cone, if you guys decide to make some homemade cones, is your first flip over. You really want to tuck it in there. So you're going to tuck and then just start rolling, roll, roll, tuck and roll, and then just leave her there. And now you set it and forget it while she shapes. Of course, she's not going to do today. She's shy. I'm gonna make another one.
So I don't know if KitchenAid has a pizzelle maker, which is why we are using this little one from Dash, so I apologize. But if you're just going to get into some amateur ice cream maker at home, this little Dash one is very helpful. The cone stand is not necessary, but it's cute.
It's necessary. Come on now. Like, y'all know. What are you going to do with those cones? Where'd you get that stand maker? Or this stand?
I'll be honest, the cones stand and the little tiny cute thing is from Amazon.
Now you're going to say Target.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just take this out. Look at her. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got a clap from her. She loves
that
it.
baby cone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy making these so tiny because I'm used to just these massive cones. I remember when we opened, we started, I was like, we need like 30 cones at all times. And I thought that was, just, like an insane amount until we actually opened and people started showing up more and like, no, 30 cones is like maybe an hour's worth of cones. Whoops.
So just a side note on the ice cream churner. So you may be able to tell, but right here, it's melted. And right down here, it's still ice. So you can kind of keep an eye. You'll know when your bowl is not frozen anymore because there'll be a little line that goes down, just the frozen line. And that's a good way to keep an eye on it because once all that cold is gone, it's really not going to freeze your ice cream anymore. But we are almost done on this. And I'm pretty sure these ice cream freeze bowls fit on both the large and the small KitchenAid because it has this attachment that goes on the bottom to kind of bump it up a little bit more. So it's very adaptable.
Adaptable.
Anyone go see all the painted KitchenAid mixers at Mayfest? No. You did? We painted the macaron one. We were very proud of it. It's still on display at the bakery. You can win it if you want.
Come enter to win.
Come get some ice cream, then go to the bakery and sign up to win it. I think we will probably choose a winner on Monday because the PGA is over on Sunday. Am I right? Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, and then, we'll wait to draw that. So I'm going to take this off. Or try to. I can't. It's too tight on there. There we go. Okay. And I don't have a little spatula, but so you're never going to get your ice cream to be as churned as like solid ice cream. It's still, you can eat it in this stage, which why wouldn't you?
Favorite.
It's delicious. It's basically soft serve at this point. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, you can eat it like this, or you can put it in adorable little pints that you buy on Amazon that look professional, or you can put it in a bowl at home. I feel like I'm making a mess. I apologize. So I don't have anything else that we're going to scoop this into, so you would just put this in your freezer, let it firm up more, and then you are good to go on ice cream. So, everyone see? Very exciting. There's no test samples today, and I'm sorry about that. So you can definitely go to the Ice Cream Beatrice and try it. But it is a little soft, and the cones are firm enough that we can scoop a little one and let it seep down in it.
I could probably do that. Make sure it's not one that I just made.
If you're not good at rolling your cones and you still have holes in the bottom, you could put a little chocolate chip in it, or you could make magic shell. And
hey, there she kind of is.
Cute. So if you don't know what magic shell is, it's basically oil, and oil like coconut or canola or whatever you want to use in a chocolate, and it makes a shiny shell so that when it hits something cold, it immediately hardens. So you could put anything you wanted into your ice cream, or stop the drip at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm just making cones.
Just making cones.
I wish I could just come give these to you guys.
Anyone have any ice cream cone questions?
Or making.
Or any of this questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Secrets. Humidity definitely plays a big part in it. I mean, we've been doing them for a very long time. What do you think the best secrets are?
I think a lot of recipes tell you to have your batter set for a while, like I've read ones that are even like up to 30 minutes. We don't let it set at all. It's supposed to form that film, but if your oven's keep ours like 320, it'll just create that film the minute you put them in the oven, and we just pipe and go. But yeah, I think all macaron recipes are fairly similar.
Letting your egg whites sit out for a while kind of gets rid of the water content in them, and it'll make it a more concentrated egg white, and that definitely makes a big difference.
We use older egg whites instead of fresh.
Whites end up.
I don't know. Maybe it's just we're giving away all our secrets. Like a day or two, just not like fresh cracked.
2 weeks aged.
Yeah.
We use a food processor, and we blend powdered sugar and almond flour together.
She's a mess.
There are certain almond flour brands that are oilier, and that will definitely ruin your macarons. So if it feels oilier, you can dry it out in the oven at a very low temp, and that makes a big difference. A long time ago, the macarons weren't working. I was having a meltdown. And I convinced myself the only way that I would make them work is because the almonds were a little too fine of a grind. So I convinced myself that I don't think they're out here, a little tiny coffee grinder. And I would grind like 1/4 of a cup of this mix pretty much for like 3 hours. I would do it because we use a large amount at once. It didn't change anything. So, but I did it for a long time. I was like, I'm going to make these the best, finest ground almonds. But it didn't work. There's just different brands that are better for it. So, we also have an ice cream with macaron shells in it, which is really tasty. Has blackberry jam and macaron shells. Any other questions about ice cream, macarons, baked goods? No. Weird different flavors.
I think my favorite I made 2021 my year to get people interested in miso in baked goods instead of just savory. So I make a miso caramel cake, but it's very similar. Like Molly was saying, she puts a lot of salt in this one because if you're calling something salted caramel, I expect to taste salt in it. And that's all miso. It's just fermented soybean paste. So it's just extremely salty, but we do a caramel miso. What else did I put?
Peanut?
Oh, peanut. Yeah. I definitely stole that from a savory dish I was eating one time with miso and peanut, but I think that's going to be our next ice cream venture because people really took a liking to that cake. But I think that's maybe, if you call it weird, it's just our...
Different. Yeah.
But, people like it. It's just salty. Don't be scared of it. Just try it.
We're lucky because we've done so many unusual flavors at both the bakery and now the ice cream shop that it's getting to be more normal to have unusual ingredients in them. One of my favorite macarons is smoked tea, and we take smoked black tea and we steep the milk in it. And we also did it with ice cream, and then we take the smoked tea milk, heavy cream, and we turn it into a chocolate ganache. And so that's really good.
Cornmeal. I think sweet corn is also a fun flavor we do that people are skeptical about it, if you will, but sweet corn in baked goods is chef's kiss.
You can usually tell what kind of weird food jag we're on because it'll be like right now I'm obsessed with apricots, so everything has apricots, and then we bought a large amount of peaches that we're getting at the end of June.
How many peaches?
I think I bought a lot, like 12 cases of, they have these peaches and I think it's in Georgia called the Peach Truck. And so I bought a lot, and it's probably just going to be a week of us processing peaches. Everything at the bakery will have peaches, so just be prepared for that. But you can usually tell what weird thing we're obsessed with month to month because everything has it in it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think that's it. I appreciate everyone watching today. Please come and try caramel ice cream at Beatrice. It is at 11 East Reconciliation Way. It's a busy weekend, so please come down and try. We're open Memorial. Oh no, we're not. Sorry, we're not open Memorial Day. But yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys very much.